ナモアミダ仏、ナモアミダ仏、ナモアミダ仏、ナマンダーツ、ナマンダーツ、ナマンダーツ、ナマンダーツ、ナマンダーツ、ナマンダーツ。高原義に異人無我如善妙無用当者日月間に主公園よ開始のんぺい有脈樹木如来有限調整無輪小学大音コールジポ開門精進三昧知恵意徳無量修正形人体前年小仏崩壊愚人人の空語外体無明欲ぬ世尊読む人の死死人徳無量空君広大知恵人妙光明一層神道大仙願が差仏在所法可動生じ未不下脱うせ上位解任精進如是三昧知恵以上五世特仏不行志願一切空空一切大愛決し有仏百千億万無量大小修行語者供養一切使徒諸仏不如愚道見性不逆非如語者諸仏世界不不影無種節道光明師匠変死証拠如是精進維持難量量が差仏国土第一五種奇妙道場超絶国如内音 니무토소 가토아이미 도닷 이사이 지포라이쇼 신넷쇼저 이토카국 계락 안논 고빈시며 제가신쇼 헛간노히 니키쇼쇼역 지포세솜 지혜문에 조려시손 징하신여 계려신시 쇼크덕추 나교쇼짐 닌주프케 나만다부 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 간니시쿠도쿠 별돌세이사이 도헛보다이신 어저의 안다고 Namandops, 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 namandops. Please join me in Gassho. Clearly, we know then that the Nembutsu is not a self-powered practice performed by foolish beings or sages. It is therefore called the practice of not directing virtue on the part of beings. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namandops, 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 Namandops. Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our second Sunday service for the month of January of 2022. So I know many of you are probably tired of hearing this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Happy New Year to everyone again. And from the previous Dharma talks that I've given for the year of 2022, I once again would like to go along with the theme of a renewed sense of gratitude. Gratitude for the Buddhist path that has been laid out for us by the Buddha and the masters who came before us. So when I talk about gratitude, I'm talking about saying thank you, of course, in our everyday lives. When we say thank you to the person who bags our groceries, when we say thank you to the person who takes our ticket to get out of the garage, when we say thank you to a service that is performed for us by any person, when we say thank you to just a random stranger for helping us pick something up, or just saying thank you for a smile. It is a wonderful feeling to receive a thank you and to give a thank you. But this is also just on the surface of who we are as people. When we also talk about thank you or gratitude, I also like to think that there is a deeper sense of gratitude or a sense of thank you when we talk about Buddhism, or when we talk about our path, especially of Jodo Shinshu. In Buddhism, when we say thank you, or when we have this feeling of gratitude, and why gratitude is so important, it's because we formally acknowledge that there are multitudes of causes and conditions that bring us to where we are today. There were multitude of causes and conditions. There was hundreds of thousands, if not millions of causes and conditions that had to happen in order for a person to perform an act of kindness towards you, or for you to perform an act of kindness for someone else. There has never been a guarantee that we are going to be who we are right now. There is no guarantee that the person across from me would have given me a nice handshake or given me a wave hello or a smile. There's no guarantee that the person who who accidentally bumps into me is a reasonable and kind person, or a person who says, "Oh, I'm so sorry, and are you okay?" instead of being mean and saying something like, "Oh, why did you get in my way? That's your fault." Things like that. There is no guarantee in life that these things will happen. We would like for when we sometimes get into an accident, or when we sometimes mess up, or when we sometimes make a mistake, or when we sometimes, even when we get angry. We would like to think that the people we deal with are also reasonable, like-minded people who give us sometimes the benefit of the doubt, or we would like to give other people the benefit of the doubt. We would like to think that, that these things are sort of guaranteed in life, right? Everyone's going to obey the law, or everyone's going to kind of live in harmony with each other. But this is definitely a selfish way of thinking sometimes, or sort of a way that we are kind of an unreasonable expectation sometimes. Now, again, I'm not trying to advocate that we should go out and cause chaos or be mean to other people, but sometimes, right, we have to deal with people that we don't always like. Sometimes we have to deal with people who can be difficult to deal with. My brother actually works in customer service, and he has told me many stories of the people he has had to deal with at times. And I used to work for the government. You can imagine some of the calls that I had to go through sometimes. But even still, without those experiences, without dealing with people who are sometimes difficult to deal with, sometimes without having to go through an ordeal, like going through the process of what to do after you're in a car accident, who handles that? Who do you call? All those things, right? If I didn't go through those things, then I wouldn't know what to do when they happen. So in a sense, we also have to show a sense of gratitude for the experiences that we have that are sometimes not so pleasant. Now, it's easy for me to say this now. Of course, when the thing initially happens, we are in a state of shock. We are in a state of unease, and sometimes we get angry, or sometimes we're sad or upset. Sometimes we get all angry and mad. But after a while, and we cool down, and we think about it, and we take a step back out of ourselves or from ourselves, we can kind of see that, well, I see what happened in this particular instance, and now, hopefully, if it happens again, or when it happens again, I know how to deal with it a lot better. So this is what I'm talking about when I say a deep sense of gratitude. I'm going to share something that recently happened. My parents were up, as you all know. My parents and my brother were up for the Christmas holiday. By this time in the holiday, my brother had already had to go back down to California. And my parents were very gracious, and I was grateful to them, a sense of gratitude. I was very grateful to them for helping me and Cindy, Reverend Cindy, fold up the myokyo, the newsletters for the temple, and help to send them out. We all went into the car and we took them to the post office. Then what ended up happening was I was slightly rear-ended at one of the traffic signals, and boom, right? There was a kind of this boom, ooh, someone bumped me in the back. You know, it wasn't so bad. It wasn't that bad. It was just a little bump. And we pulled into the drive into the parking lot of a small business nearby, and the driver who bumped me got out of the car, and to my surprise, well, not surprise, but also to my relief, this was a very reasonable person. They very much admitted that they weren't paying attention, but also I didn't get mad. We didn't get mad at each other, and it was a very smooth experience. We exchanged information, and my father was there too, and my parents didn't get angry. We checked in with each other, right, to make sure that we were both okay and that everyone was fine. There was only just a tiny little dent in the back bumper of the car, and you can kind of see the outline of the license plate. But other than that, we were okay. We were fine. No one was hurt. Nobody got upset. The person was very apologetic, and my father was not angry. I was not mad. We just exchanged information, and it was a very smooth experience. And we both went on our merry ways, and we were probably just dealing with insurance, which is probably going to be, in some sense, I sometimes think that might even be a more tiring and stressful experience, is having to deal with the insurance and having the insurance companies talk back and forth about a price or whatever. But again, I am feeling a great sense of gratitude because, yes, of course, I'm not necessarily happy that somebody bumped me, but I'm also very grateful and have a deep sense of gratitude that whatever the causes and conditions were for this other person who bumped me, that they were very reasonable and they understood that what they did was also, in a sense, incorrect. And in my case as well, I also am very grateful that I also didn't get mad. I'm also grateful that I'm not the most patient person in the world. People will tell you this. My wife, Reverend Cindy, will tell you this, that I am not the most patient person in the world. So there wasn't this fight or this argument that happened. I am very grateful for this, that myself and this other person were born in causes and conditions and in circumstance where we weren't going to get mad and we weren't going to yell at each other, and it didn't turn out worse. So again, right, now I'm thankful that no one was hurt, and I'm thankful that I dealt with a reasonable person. But again, in the Buddhist sense, I have a deep sense of gratitude that this person was a very reasonable person, but that they were born in causes and conditions that actually caused them to be this way. Remember what I said before, there is no guarantee that the people we deal with are going to be reasonable people or going to be like-minded people. And sometimes we're just having a bad day. Sometimes a person is just having a bad day and they're going to get upset, and it kind of has a rippling effect, doesn't it? So, and then that's the Buddhism, that's the gratitude in terms of Buddhism. But now in gratitude in terms of Jodo Shinshu, the school of Buddhism that we follow, we feel a deep sense of gratitude towards Amida Buddha for wisdom and compassion that is given to us ceaselessly, constantly, and in our daily lives. We benefit from Amida Buddha's wisdom and compassion, the realm of the Dharma, in our daily lives. And I'm not necessarily, this doesn't mean that we're getting blessed with luck or that we're going to, get financial gains this year or anything like that. Once again, the Nembutsu is not something we say in order to get something. So when we come to the temple, right, and we put our hands together and we say, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. We're not praying for something. We're not saying, Amida Buddha, please give me wisdom, please give me compassion. We're not saying, Amida Buddha, please help me to be patient, help me to be a better person. We're not saying this, okay? We often, we as human beings often ask, what's in it for me? What do I get out of this? And this is a foolish desire. This is our bonno. This is our self-centered egos talking. When we join a religion or when we join a subscription or when we, in fact, actually, right, like there are how many subscriptions now? Netflix, Disney Plus, Hulu, sometimes they're kind of linked with each other, right? There's Paramount Plus, there's HBO Max, there's all these services. And then in order to get those services, sometimes you have to have a TV, and sometimes you have to have Xfinity, right? You have to have all these things, right? And so when you subscribe to one of these services, when you subscribe to HBO Max or Netflix or something, what you are getting in return are the movies that you can watch. So sometimes there's only certain things for certain movies, right? So like HBO has certain movies that's only on HBO Max. So, and then the same thing for Netflix. You can only really get Netflix exclusive content like Cobra Kai or Squid Game. You can only watch that for free, well, in a sense, on Netflix without having to pay more for it. And same thing with Amazon Prime. Like there's all these different companies. So, when we're subscribing to these things, we ask ourselves, well, what do I get out of it? What are the things that I want? And then we kind of weigh those options, don't we? And so this is our bonno, our self-centered egos talking. But when we put our hands together and say, Namo Amida Butsu, we acknowledge, the Nembutsu is an acknowledgement and a response of joy and gratitude that we are able to engage and take part in the Dharma. So when we say Namo Amida Butsu, we're not asking for Amida Buddha to sell us something, or we're not asking for a blessing that's going to make us richer when we go to the casino or pick the winning lottery numbers. This is not what's going on. What we are acknowledging is that Amida Buddha has already given us wisdom and compassion. Amida Buddha tirelessly has worked through 10 kalpas of time to give us the Pure Land path, a path that is meant just for us foolish beings. We don't have to engage in extremely hard and rigid practices to ensure our enlightenment or to ensure our freedom from samsara, the everlasting cycle of birth and death. We are very grateful that Amida Buddha has created the Pure Land for us to be born into right after we pass and are immediately awakened and immediately return to this world to guide others there. I am grateful that I am still here in this world, in the presence of the Buddha Dharma, which, by the way, does not only exist at the temple. The Buddha Dharma does not only exist inside the temple. So when we are Buddhist, coming to temple doesn't just make us Buddhist, and going outside, and then when we leave the temple, that doesn't mean we leave our Buddhism at the door. This pandemic has hindered many of our abilities to gather and go out, but it doesn't have to diminish our sense of gratitude towards the Buddha, towards the Dharma, and towards each other, the Sangha. A great sense of community and coming together still exists within this temple. Last month, on December 18th, the temple came together, many members of the temple came together and cleaned this temple, dusted, vacuumed, made sure that everything was nice and in order. And it was because they don't just care about the building. It's because they also realize that this is a space that many of us can gather and listen to the Dharma, that many of us can gather and take part in chanting the sutras and acknowledging the wonderful teaching that has been given to us. And what better than also being able to share in that with the community? So once again, I wish you all a happy new year and a safe and healthy one at that. And once again, I would like to really emphasize this year's theme, which is renewing our sense of gratitude, starting this year with a great sense of gratitude, starting this year with appreciation for those around us who do things for us, who make us feel special, who make us feel wonderful, But it's not just about getting things, right? It's not just about receiving things. We also have to take our part, have to do our part in giving back to the community as well. And not just because, we think that we're going to get something out of it or that we think that we're going to profit from it, but because we also realize that in order to move forward with our lives, in order to function in life, we need the kindness and compassion and the workings of others besides ourselves. So with that in mind, thank you for attending today's Sunday service. I certainly hope that everyone is starting the new year with wonderful news, or that you were able to spend some New Year's with some of your family safely, of course. Let's all try to be a little bit more careful. We know that the Omicron cases are starting to go up a little bit, so try to stay safe. Continue to wear the mask. If you need to get a booster shot, please get a booster shot, and please take care of each other and try to be kind to each other. With that, please join me in Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Nam Mandabs, Nam Mandabs, Nam Mandabs, Nam Mandabs.